Guys, everything is on fire up in Madison right now. They have lost 7 players to the transfer portal. They have not added a player. And Wisconsin fans want to fire Greg Gard more than anything else. It's not looking good up for the Badgers right now, losing AJ Storr, Chucky Hepburn, just a myriad of players.
Connor
Essegian is
Essegian.
decided it was better to go to Lincoln, Nebraska than Madison, Wisconsin. You know, he's going to go take on the Kasai Tominaga role, I guess. I don't really know what the thought process was there, but I mean, Evan Flood wrote a really good piece on 24/7. I think I shared it with you guys, and it was all just about NIL and Greg Gard's thoughts and NIL and everything that's going on there. Anthony, we'll go to you first, man. Is Wisconsin seeing an issue with NIL? In your opinion, is Wisconsin seeing an issue with NIL because of the fans' discontent with Greg Gard?
So I have more of a personal connection to this too. I also departed Madison recently, moved back to Michigan. So lots of departures from Madison. Really liked it there.
You and Connor Essegian have so much in common.
So like seeing the fans there, obviously their heart and soul is always going to be football, 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 right? They are a football school. Basketball is like respected there and they have a good history with it. But I know that a lot of the fans are fed up with Greg Gard at this point. And I mean, they're going to funnel their money into what is, what has more promise at this point. And, Wisconsin football, they're trying to rebuild a little bit, but right now that's where fans are going to be, putting their money, and they don't see it worth investing in the product that Greg Gard is doing at this point. It's interesting because this year's Wisconsin team looked really like they were offensive minded. This was a level of offense that we haven't normally seen from Wisconsin. Normally they're the watching paint dry basketball school. And this year they weren't that, but then they choked in the tournament. So, I think that there's a lot of grumbling going on. And I think, with 7 players going out and none coming in, like there's definitely some red flags there.
Well, there's not even like rumors about new players coming in, right? Like,
yeah.
We're going to get to Ohio State here in a minute. They lost out on Trey Townsend, but there's at least 4 or 5 players that, are rumors. And obviously those players aren't as good as Trey Townsend. Like I said, we'll get to it in a minute, but like I don't hear Wisconsin being in on John Hal Davis or anybody that, gets the fans excited. Like, it's really, really difficult to get excited about NIL when you're, 1, not happy with your coach, and 2, not happy with the direction of the program because you don't see a direction. You don't know what's going on. Kent, do you tend to agree that NIL is being affected by fans' discontent with Greg Gard?
I'm not really sure because I don't know how much people are giving or like what their budget is or anything at this point. Like, I don't have access to that information. I am curious though, Anthony, how many minutes did Greg Gard play you this year? Because
0.
if it 0, so
that's why.
I think that might be why you left as well. Greg Gard is he's misusing talent, and it's clear. Like, we got him right here. Didn't get any minutes.
That is awfully generous.
I will say this about Wisconsin's collective, if you will. They are trying very hard, and here's why I know they're trying. The night that Connor Essegian decided to enter the transfer portal, in fact, I think it was the day he committed, I went to it's called the Varsity Collective, and I went to their website, and on the banner of their website was a large picture of some prominent Badgers, and it was the focal point of it was Connor. And they have since changed that. It's now John Blackwell. So they've taken that step. They got Connor off the collective website. And the bigger news is, and this is more important for me, especially because I love beer, they just released that they are going to do a varsity golden ale with 20% of the proceeds going to the NIL collective. Very similar to what Iowa did with the Swarm Golden Ale. Don't know why they're all golden ales when it comes to these NIL beers, but I had an idea, JR. I don't know if you drink beer or not, but I would like to get my hands on both of these beers and on the show do a live taste test, and whichever one tastes better, I will donate X amount of dollars to. I don't want to say anything crazy, but like, $50 or something like that. Whichever beer tastes better, that school will get that money. Is that a good idea?
Let's do it.
I think that would be great for the show.
I'm more of a ale guy myself. I'll drink.
Oh, these are both ale. They're gold. Is it golden ale? Do you like golden ales?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
They're both golden ales, both of them.
I drink so many golden ales. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to get those. So if the Iowa and Wisconsin people could help us out, because I live in Tennessee, I'm not driving to go get these beers.
That would actually be a really good bit if we could get like rival schools get their beers and like drink them together. Like I don't know. Does Ohio State I think Ohio State has a beer. I think they 1870.
We got some research to do. We got to get all the beers.
Anthony,
we got to get all the NIL beers.
Does Michigan or Michigan State have any beers?
So I know that Michigan State has a beer that they added. Now that they can sell alcohol at the stadium, they added a beer to the list, but it's not tied to NIL in any way. It's just something they sell at the stadium. I think it's an IPA.
Maybe that's what we do for Wisconsin to get them more NIL dollars. We start selling their beer in the stadium.
Selling beer is the most Wisconsin way to gather NIL money.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're putting it in the Krogers, but you're not putting it in the arenas where people go crazy. So look at us. We have fixed Wisconsin's NIL problem.
Done.
Who cares if they all hate Greg Gard?
Done. I wish we had access to, the actual amount of money each of these collectives had. So we could be like, man, Maryland is really struggling right now getting money. Because like we can say that they are, but we don't really know. Like Wisconsin could be loaded right now and they just are sitting on a pile of money waiting for the right guy to give it to. We don't know.
That's the problem, is the NIL wants Greg Gard fired. So even though they're getting donations, they're like, we're not going to pay anybody till Greg Gard.
Yeah. There's a lot of families that run deep in Madison. So I think the money is there. I think they're maybe holding out. I don't think they have the, billionaire donors necessarily, but I think similar to like the Packers where everybody owns a little bit, I think there is a lot of money, behind the program. And it's the only major program in the state, right? It's kind of Wisconsin and then for basketball, Marquette, right? But, in general, like it is Wisconsin or nothing else.
Which Marquette is a much more exciting program right now.
Right.
So Philip does bring up a good point. I was planning on bringing this up, but thank you for bringing it up, Philip. How does Greg Gard get a 5-year contract extension when he just lost the core of his team to the portal? This wasn't even like he got the contract extension and then like 3 players left or something like that after. Chucky Hepburn went into the portal. He got a contract extension the next day. Like, how do you lose your star point guard? The school was like, here's 5 more years till, I think I just looked it up, until May 31st, 2029.
Here's my hot take. If it was just Chucky who left, I think that would have been addition by subtraction, but everybody else who left, that's where it's more concerning.
Well, yeah, it's Connor Essegian, Russ Candelino. I don't think he was really making a difference, with all due respect.
That was the, I mean, he's had a lot of stops, but it's still, that was a tough one to lose.
Yeah. Luke Hartle. I don't think I ever heard of him. Gus Yalden, the freshman, AJ Storr, Isaac Lindsey, and Chucky Hepburn. So it's not like they lost like a Steven Crowl or a John Blackwell, but I mean, still, like, Chucky Hepburn's a good point guard in my mind. I'd be happy if he was the point guard on my team. So yeah. And Z Paulson, you might be exactly right. Nobody wants to play for Gard in this antiquated offense. Who knows? That could definitely be a part of it. So things are not looking good.
Anthony wanted to play this year. He just didn't get any minutes. Like, that's the problem. Like, the people that do want to play, they don't get in the game. What's up with that, man?
Mo, welcome to the show here. Chucky is dead.
He said Mo. Why didn't you read his last name?
Lester Jr. I didn't want to say it all.
I'm glad you caught it at least.
That's a hilarious name, whoever did that. Wait, what did he even say? Chucky is dead to everyone in Madison?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I think I think that's true. I don't think people liked
not leaving that
Chucky.
name up
I
there
think
for
they
too
thought he
long.
was too ball dominant. He did not like, I don't know. I think people, he had kind of worn out his welcome in a really good freshman year. And then he just kind of started to like slide last, like he didn't have an upward trajectory last season. He regressed.
Well, who do they want then? They don't want Gard. They don't want Hepburn. Who do they want?
And that's
They
my
wanted
question.
AJ
Is
Storr,
kind of like,
probably.
okay, great. You're stalled out with Gard. Who do you get? I don't know.
Yeah.